value you can count on.
Welcome back. Our next guests have recently been honoured for their Trojan volunteer work helping those in need of hospice care.
Dubbed Hospice Heroes, we're joined now by Gráinne and Joe Carey. Lovely to have you both with us.
Good
and many
morning,
congratulations.
guys.
Thank you very much.
Simon and I were oohing and ahhing over your lovely trophies that you kindly brought in to show us, and this was the Hospice Hero Awards in early May, and both of you were honoured.
The hero word.
Anyway, Gráinne, what kind of a night was it?
It was a morning. It was lovely.
Morning.
It was cold and windy now, but Mary Kennedy was the guest of honour as the sponsor. She's kind of an ambassador for the hospice movement, so it was lovely to have an opportunity to meet her.
And lovely to be honoured as well, because you work so tirelessly. Joe, can you tell us about the hospice that, where you work and how you got involved in volunteering in the first place?
Well, no, the hospice I work for is Cahacalla Hospice, and I know Mary Maloney, who runs the hospice there for some years back.
Okay.
And she got me involved. Now, I witnessed firsthand the care and attention that the palliative care nurses gave to my wife as she lay seriously ill in her own home with cancer.
And that's Mary there, your wife, who sadly passed away about 3 or 4 years ago now.
That's right, 3 years next July now.
Yes.
Yeah, but
a very sad time
I'm ever grateful to the palliative care nurses, the care and attention they gave Mary during her final weeks before she passed away.
But as you say, Joe, you witnessed it firsthand. You saw how much care that they gave
I
her.
did, yeah.
And that had an effect on you in terms of that when after she passed, you thought, there's something I'd like to do. There's something I'd like to give back.
Exactly. It was payback time, really.
Yeah.
Payback time. And then I want to thank sincerely my niece, Maureen, who lives in Castlebar, and my sister-in-law, Pat Meir, and my Mary's niece, a nurse in Cahacalla as well. They looked after Mary in her final days in her own home.
And that level of care is so important, and that's the type of care that you're contributing now and you're helping. Can you tell us about the hospice that you're involved with?
Well, again, like Joe, my dad died and was taken care of by Milford Hospice in Limerick in 2002. Now, my sister would have been the one to see, and my brother to see the stuff firsthand, because I was still working then and only made it down for the final week. Okay. So I suppose I could speak more about the care that they gave us, as much as the care they gave Dad, which was plentiful. Soon after that, the movement to start a hospice in Blanchardstown spearheaded. The two I associated with are Father Eugene Kennedy and Father Dan Joe Mahoney, the two best men ever to don a collar. So there was sort of a groundswell of movement. We were looking for a site, we were looking for money. We now have the site, we have the building, thanks to the late Brian Lennon. But of course the debt has to be paid. And so every opportunity I had in my former life as school principal to fundraise, we had hospice days with coffee mornings, the Christmas concert, we'd be sending the proceeds someplace. The hospice, with everybody else's agreement, was nearly always top of the list. I think the hospice movement is something you don't really have to sell. Most people have been touched with it in one way or another.
And more and more people are getting touched
itself.
Because we look at the general population of the country. The requirements for hospice care are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it needs constant funding, doesn't it?
Yeah. But they're spreading too, because I mean, I initially would have associated hospice with what it is ultimately end of life care, but they're now recommending people with a severe diagnosis, with a terminal diagnosis, to get involved with palliative care much sooner. That improves and indeed improves quality of life and lengthens the life. That was something we learned at a recent training day. So it's
and helps to provide a support for the families.
Absolutely, and it can be in the hospital situation, in the hospice. It can be daycare. A lot of people in Blanchardstown now are driving people to and fro for a particular day of the week for all sorts of things, and it's amazing. It's not the scary word it used to be. I mean, when you hear somebody's in a hospice now, you don't really have to clear your diary for the following week.
Yes, absolutely.
They're taking care of them much sooner, so the word doesn't need to be that scary.
Well, it's a credit to all of the staff, the medical staff and the volunteers such as yourselves. Simon and I were chatting before about volunteering. Do you remember we were chatting to wonderful volunteers a few months back, and they were saying that they get back from volunteering so much more than they feel they give out.
Wow. Exactly.
Do you feel like that, Joe?
I feel definitely you get great satisfaction from volunteering. I feel, and I'd appeal to a lot of people out there who have time in their hand to to volunteer.
Because
to become available to volunteer and help people.
Because the time commitment, Joe, that you give up, that depends on you. You can give as much time as you like. If you have a couple of hours free a week, you would recommend someone to try and get in touch with the hospice care and donate their time.
And especially now for the weekend coming up, I would appeal to people to come out and volunteer. We're constantly looking for volunteers.
And Joe, you mentioned the weekend coming up. It is an important weekend because it's the Hospice Sunflower Day.
Exactly, yeah.
Talk us through that. What can we do to help and what can we expect to see around the country?
Well, I suppose in many shopping centres, many streets around every town and city, because this isn't just about Joe's hospice or our hospice, you'll see people selling sunflowers, selling badges, selling pens, selling bits and bobs. So if you're passing them by, put the loose change in. I found actually when we're doing this one that a lot of people pop in the paper money, and then there's somebody with a story. There's somebody that has recently been touched by this. They know what's going on, and they want, because it's all free. Doesn't matter how much VHI cover you have or anything, it's all free, and there are no claimbacks, so they don't differentiate between one and another. So if there's anybody in either area that really fancies doing more than just buying a flower, they fancy helping to sell them, just contact the local hospice, put your name on a list. There's several gaps in my roster yet. In spite of all my Still Oliver and Cool Mind Musical Society friends and everybody else on board.
We'll pop up all the details if people want to get in touch and help for this weekend. We really appreciate you coming in and telling your story, Joe, and the best of luck this weekend.
And congratulations as well.
And well done for being here. Just a quick reminder that Hospice Sunflower Days takes place next Friday and Saturday around the country.
Thank you very much, Joe and Gráinne. Now, up next, some great looks in fashion for your summer barbecue party. You're all going around to Gráinne's later, apparently. Stay with us.